welcome to another episode here on the YouTube channel. Today's topic, as far as engineering is concerned, is more on mathematics and statistics. And so what we have in front of us is the question of the value of x if the natural log x equals the natural log parentheses x plus 6 minus the natural log of x minus 4 is most nearly what? So to this problem, there's a bit of a trick to it, and you have to know all of your natural log rules. And so for us, what we do is we have to first write out the problem. So the best way to do this is to just jump right in. So natural log of x here ends up equaling the natural log x plus 6 minus the natural log of x minus 4. So the trick here is that minus. That minus tells us to use one of the log rules of division. So what we can do is now simplify it by simply saying that the natural log of x plus 6 is now over x minus 4. And of course, the left side still remains the same. So what we can do now is realize that we are now capable of essentially eliminating these natural logs because they're both common terms on both sides. And so we are left with the problem equaling x on the left and then x plus 6 over x minus 4. So from there, we're not necessarily done because we need to solve for x, and so the best way to do that is to bring this x minus 4 over here, and then you'll find through foiling that the entire process of x minus 4 and then accounting for this x plus 6 that I just circled will give you the following answer. Bear with me as I erase my board to demonstrate that. And so then from there, what we can see is that your answer should look something like this. X squared minus 4x, which then equals x plus 6. Again, this is after we've FOILed. Now we're bringing this x plus 6 over here to the left. And so what we'll do from there is we'll also account for it, which then becomes x squared minus 5x minus 6 equaling 0. So what we have right here is an indication of essentially we can do this a couple different ways. We know for a fact that there are going to be two potential answers because of that power there, and that's a good indicator to help you kind of solve it. And so what the best way to do is to complete the square. And so at this point in your education, I think y'all have done a completion of the square. I would look up some videos to help you, but for the most part, y'all can figure it out based off of the math that I'm doing currently. So your x squared becomes x squared minus 6x plus x, and then we're subtracting a negative 6. Okay, and it's all equaling 0, so nothing's really changed. It's just that difference in the negative 6. So we realize that a negative 6 plus a positive negative 6x plus a positive x gives you the negative 5x. So from there we can kind of solve it a little bit more. And so we take x minus 6, take the other parentheses, and then we do the same for this second part here in the equation that I've underlined. What do they have in common? Which is 1. Because again, what this problem has, this section of the problem has is a similar x, so that x is thus underlined for y'all to see. And so we take out the 1, which then is just really x minus 6. And so we know that the multipliers are going to be x minus 6. And then we're going to have this parenthesis set here, which will this be x plus 1, and this combination of numbers comes from here and here, whereas the other combination of numbers, the beginning parentheses, comes from what we found earlier by breaking it down further from the rudimentary completion of the square. So going from here, we know that your x values will be somewhere in the length of x equals a positive 6 and a negative 1. So keeping that in mind, we now have to realize that depending on the solutions that you're given and what if you're given A, B, C, or D, you want to see what you have. And so what's right and what's wrong. So you kind of want to put it through these condition tests. So bear with me as I clean up here. These condition tests are going to look something like this. So condition. So the conditions we need to realize is 1, x is greater than 0, 2, x plus 6 is greater than 0, comma, x is greater than negative 6, and 3, x minus 4 is greater than 0, x is greater than 4. So based off of these conditions, we see that x is equal to 6. The other thing we just want to keep in mind is that you might not have to deal with these conditions here. The other way to deal with any type of problem similarly is to quite literally just look at your A, B, C, and D and see if it works. It doesn't always necessarily work, considering that the problem can be a little bit of a, they might have that 1 and that 6 that we tabulated. That 1 also has being a negative 1. And so if they aren't, if they're both in your selection of answers, okay, then you're a little bit, you need to differentiate which one is the best answer based off those conditions. It all depends on what that question is asking, but for us, we'll accept that x equals the negative 1 and 6. That is technically the answer, but the better answer is to say that x equals 6. It's all about what are they asking, how specific do they want you to get, and for our purposes, this answer is fine, but this answer here is getting more specific based off of testing and whatnot. So hopefully that helped to answer your question. We'll have to do a video on completing the square, so on and so forth, but I think for today's lesson, this is a pretty good stopping point. So make sure to leave any comments you have down below. Also, if you have any ideas or want certain videos of certain subjects, please let me know. That's it. Have a good one.